All right, welcome back. This is Jamie Oikel from runningrestaurants.com, where we bring you the tips, tools, and techniques you need to make your restaurant more profitable and successful. I've got a great one question episode for you today with Trevor Bernacchi of BevSpot. Here we go. Trevor, there is a common perception in the industry, right, that bartenders steal, right? They steal from the bar one way or another. It happens out there in the business. What does your data say? What does your experience say with you guys interacting in the industry? What do you think?
Yeah, that is a loaded topic for sure. I think it's hard to speak on data a little bit here since it is pretty subjective. A lot of people in the industry might not see exactly eye to eye on exactly what constitutes theft, but I can definitely speak from experience, through having served, 15 plus years in the F&B industry. I've seen a lot in my time in bars and restaurants. I'll leave that statement kind of floating out there. But I'm generally a pretty trusting person myself. So unless somebody gives me a reason not to be, I like to think that most people aren't stealing from their jobs. And from what I've seen over the years, for the most part, they aren't, at least not intentionally. So let me explain that a little bit. So there's really two types of theft when you boil it all down. There's active theft and there's passive theft. So as humans, we've all been guilty of one of these at some point in our lives, so whether we know it or not. So I'm sure some people out there listening got a little uncomfortable because I'm basically calling all humans thieves, but it'll make more sense. So active theft is exactly what you think it would be, right? You're taking something that's not yours, knowing full well that you're doing is stealing from somebody else. Maybe you've had a rough day, right? You're feeling underappreciated. Get in line there, working in restaurants is what I say. But you start to take a little bit here, a little bit there because you quote unquote deserve it, right? And I've worked in a lot of places where I wasn't feeling appreciated or compensated properly, which is really easy to do when generally you're making less than minimum wage on the clock and you're working 12 to 14 hours a day in a really tight, hot environment. To those people, I generally say this, it's just not worth it. That $30 bottle of tequila, not worth it. Having a job in this world, in this industry, it's a privilege. And if you want to be able to get another job, especially in this industry, there's definitely better ways to express your frustrations than robbing the business you work for. Now, passive theft on the other side of that, this is the one we've all been guilty of at some point. So I include myself there, not innocent of this at all. So maybe you pour a drink for a friend, right, without ringing it into the POS, or you crack a cold beer while you're closing down the bar for the night. They're both types of passive theft. So just because we aren't thinking about defrauding the business, it doesn't mean that we're not doing that or that it's not actually happening. So really any product that isn't being accounted for with either sales or comps is on a technical level is stealing. So you could say that, a lot of bartenders steal from the bar they work for in one way or another, but it really isn't as nefarious or as intentional as some people out there might actually think. And that includes bar owners too. But if you're worried about this in your bar, I'd suggest putting some stronger guardrails in place just to make sure it doesn't keep happening. So if you're going to allow shift drinks after closing, for example, make sure you have a comp tab. Your specs say you ring it up. That way you can track everything and really have open conversations about theft with your team. We would have full-on, hour-long discussions before a pre-meal about the dangers of theft and, how it can actually affect, there's a trickle-down effect. Things are being stolen. Eventually, it's going to come down to the managers who are going to take it down to the serving staff, the kitchen staff. And eventually, if someone doesn't say something, if they know, somebody is going to lose their job. And that's never the case. You never want that to be how things end up. So really just, the more you open up to them and treat them as equals in these conversations, the more respect that flows in any restaurant situation. They're not going to be tempted to rip you off. Just like anything else in this industry, it all starts from the top and does work its way down. Now, that being said, if you do discover someone stealing from you, catch them red-handed, that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother conversation, how to handle that. How do you let someone go who's stealing from you? But I think that's a whole nother one question. That's a whole nother one question topic, I think.
It is. You know what I want to ask you though, since we're talking about this topic, and I agree that the majority of it is this passive side of, let me slide a free drink, or you've bought 3 drinks, I'm going to get you the next one free, or I'm going to over pour for a good tipping customer. Things like that. They're a little bit more passive oriented than just walking out with a case. But I want to ask you, as you guys implement systems and you go into a bar and your team's going to bars, and now that the bar staff knows that systems are watching them and tracking inventory and things are being managed more effectively, do you get, rolly eyes? Do you get, oh, the boss is on me, the man is on me? What sort of feedback does the marketplace say when, they're being watched closer?
We've seen all of it, to be completely honest with you. All those things you just said have all happened. We work we work with a software that, for the most part, the people buying our product are those owners, the bar owners, the F&B directors, the people that need these insights, because maybe they're overseeing 5 different restaurants and they only have one set of eyes. So whatever the case might be, a lot of times the end users, the day-to-day bartenders, sometimes even the bar managers, are really adverse to change. And I totally get it. I served tables, I tended bar for 15 years. It is a pain to have to change what you do in a world where you have to move so quickly all the time with all these little kind of muscle memory micro movements. Anytime you have to implement a new system, there's going to be some pushback. Now, sometimes the pushback is literally because they don't want to take inventory. Or on the other side that you're suggesting, the pushback is because now they know there's going to be some kind of record that shows where the product is actually going. And we've been able to help bar owners to kind of look into user logs of their accounts and say, well, I can tell you what's going on. So-and-so is actually altering your inventory records and your sales records. And this is when they did it, and this is how they did it. Now it's up to you to have the conversation with this staff member to kind of see what's going on. But we're able to kind of help a lot of operators and even kind of end users if they're a bar manager who's worried about their actual bartenders or their bar back taking stuff from them. It's easy to pinpoint that there is an issue, and then it's going to be up to them to kind of dig a little bit deeper. They'll know their staff better than us, of course. Dig a little bit deeper to see where that variance might be coming from.
Yeah, listen, it needs to be integrated in your business because you've got to protect your profits. If you haven't done it yet, I would obviously recommend you get there soon because money is dribbling out for sure. If you're not watching it closely, and whatever. I was botched this saying, but what gets managed gets measured. Measured gets managed. The point is, if you're watching it more closely, people are going to pay more close attention and not get by with those tricks. And so I was just curious to your take on the industry. You guys are in the bars every day, seeing folks. So folks want to learn more about how you guys manage inventory for bars and restaurants. Where do they go?
Absolutely. Head right over to bevspot.com. We've got, hundreds of resources, free tools, start a free trial there. You can even sign up to schedule a 15-minute chat with one of our team members so we can learn a little bit more about your business to see if BevSpot would be a right fit. And you can ask us any questions you might have about the software. And within 15 minutes, you'll know if it's a right fit or not.
Perfect. Yeah, folks, you can do that. Thanks, Trevor. I appreciate that, sir. Folks, that was Trevor Bernacci of BevSpot. You can find all about how they help restaurants and bars improve their beverage program and their food programs at bevspot.com. For more great restaurant marketing, operations, service people, and tech tips, stay tuned to us here at runningrestaurants.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks.